All right, so the Conservatives have decided to choose Erin O'Toole to be leader of their party. Erin O'Toole won on the third ballot, so electing a leader of the Conservative Party of Canada is similar to electing a president of France. They have runoff ballots. So if you don't win an absolute majority on the first ballot, it goes to the second ballot. The only difference between electing a president of France and electing a leader of the Conservative Party is that the French, they say, look, we'll see how everybody does on the first ballot, and the top two people will be the ones to go to the next round. Everyone else is out. Get out of here. You're a loser. Get out. But in the Conservatives, they only take out the one who gets last place. And that person was Derek Sloan. He got 14% on the first ballot. Erin O'Toole got 31% on the first ballot. Peter McKay won the first ballot with 33%. Wasn't enough. Leslyn Lewis on the third ballot got 20%. And Derek, as I said, got 14%. So he was out. On the second ballot, Erin O'Toole won the second ballot with 35%. Peter McKay got 34.78, so pretty much round that to 35%. And Leslyn Lewis got 30, so she was the last, so she was out. And on the second ballot, Erin O'Toole got 57% of the vote, which put him over the top with a majority of people going for him. And Peter McKay got 42.98%, so you can round that up to 43%. So Erin O'Toole won pretty convincingly. I mean, Peter McKay, I knew Peter McKay wasn't going to win. I knew it. First of all, it was a long night, though. They said that the results were going to come in at 9 o'clock. It came in at pretty much 1 o'clock Eastern time. It was a lot. What were they doing? Were they rigging the election or something? I don't know. But either the Conservative Party of Canada is the most incompetent organization out there, or the people who were voting in the Conservative election are too stupid to put in an X, or they were rigging the election. I don't know. I don't think that the Conservatives are stupid enough to not know how to put an X in a bubble. They said that the ballots were damaged. Boy, man, if the ballots were damaged, then you all don't know how to vote properly. It's just an X in a bubble. It's not that hard. But I don't think that's what it is. I don't know. But I'm happy with Erin O'Toole, okay? I'm happy with him. I wasn't going to be happy with Peter McKay. First of all, Erin O'Toole is my member of parliament. He's in Durham. That's where I am. He's my member of parliament. I've met Erin O'Toole many times. And I'm an independent, okay? I'm not a conservative. I didn't vote in this because I'm an independent. And I mean, if it was up to me, I'd vote in every party's leadership race. I'd vote in the leadership race for the Liberals, the NDP, but you have to pay to vote in those things, which is right. I agree with that because they want somebody who's going to be stomped down with their party. But I'm not stomped down with any party, and I'm not going to pay money to any political party to vote. I'm not going to do it. I'd sooner give my money to the church. I'd sooner give it to the bum and it's sitting on on Yonge Street over there. I'd sooner give my money. I'd sooner put it in the stock market. I'm not giving my money to the Conservative Party or any party. But I was happy that Erin O'Toole won. If I had voted in the Conservative leadership race, I would have voted as an independent. But if I had voted, I would have gone for Erin O'Toole. I mean, I wasn't really particularly pleased with any of the choices. Really, I wasn't. I originally wanted Leslyn Lewis, but Leslyn Lewis snubbed me. She snubbed the Arana Nation. And when you snub the Arana Nation snubs you. And so I recanted my endorsement, not publicly, but I said I don't want her to win. And by the way, here's the thing. Leslyn Lewis, I had asked Leslyn Lewis many times to come on Arana Nation to do an interview, like I've done with many people. I wasn't going to ask any weird questions or, conspiracy. I'm not that type of person. I'm very professional. When I interview anybody, I've interviewed many people in Canada, and I don't ask them weird. I ask bread and butter issues. That's what I care about. I'm not going to ask her, is she down with the Zionists or something? So she must have seen who Arana Nation was. She said, I'm too toxic. I'm too controversial. And she snubbed us. She didn't snub me. She snubbed us. Leslyn Lewis snubbed us, and she's a loser now. If she had come on Arana Nation, she'd be leader of Conservative Party today. She snubbed us, so to hell with her. And I think she's a snobbish person, I think she's snobbish. I think she would have sold out, too, if she became Prime Minister. If she's too weak to come on Arana Nation because she thinks I'm too controversial, she'd be just like Doug Ford is right now. She talks a good talk, but she wouldn't know how to walk the walk. She's a snob. And I think women need to stop doing that in politics. Her people came to me and said, oh, she has a scheduling. She can't do it because she's scheduled out. But she went on CTV. She went on CBC. She went on CPAC. She went on Global. And those people don't like her. You think those people like Leslyn Lewis, this those people wouldn't like her, but she didn't come here on Arana Nation. She snubbed us. So she's a loser right now. And good for her. So good riddance, Leslyn. I wasn't going to be happy if Peter McKay won. If Peter McKay had won that election like everybody had predicted, and I knew he wasn't going to win. I knew he wasn't going to win even before this race. I knew he wasn't going to win. These conservatives ain't going to vote for Peter McKay. It's obvious. Peter McKay, you must be. You think these people out there in Alberta and Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and British Columbia, and the rural parts of Ontario, and all, do you think they're going to vote for Peter McKay? Them Quebecers, he can't speak for. You think they're going to vote for Peter McKay? Are you out of your mind? Peter McKay, listen, I'll tell you why I wouldn't be happy. Honestly, well and truly. But if he had won, I would stop talking about Canadian politics. I would stop. I wouldn't mention Canadian politics again. I wouldn't, because it would be clear that the Canadians are even more stupid than I thought they would be, and that they cannot make good decisions on the left and the right. I mean, if they had voted for Peter McKay, somebody who you can tell he is just waiting. He is just waiting to go back on all the promises he said. I mean, I see him there saying he's going to be tough on China. He's going to not put in 5G. Listen, Peter McKay did the same thing in 2003. He ran for the Progressive Conservative Party leadership. He said he wouldn't join up with the Canadian Alliance, and that he only said that so he could win. And I agree with the fact that the Canadian Alliance and the Conservatives joined together. That was when the right was split in Canada. Y'all remember those days? The Progressive Conservatives and the Canadian Alliance were split. It was the split, and as a result, the right in Canada couldn't win. Jean Chrétien whooped everyone left, right, and center from 1993 all the way up until 2006. So I was happy, but Peter McKay said that in the Progressive Conservative leadership race with David Orchard and all those other old fossils who I don't know if they're dead or alive now. He said, I am not going to join up with the Canadian Alliance. And he did the exact opposite in 2003. And now, the reason I would feel that he would go back on all of his promises, that he said he was going to be tough on China, and he said all these stonk down things, all these stonk down conservative things. He said all these stonk down conservative things in the leadership race. But Peter McKay is anything but what he said. He's not going to be tough on China. You can tell by his record. You can tell by what he believes in. I can see Peter McKay a mile away, and I don't hate Peter McKay. I used to live in his riding, and back when I was a kid, I went to elementary school. I went to preschool in his riding in Nova Scotia, New Glasgow. I've seen Peter McKay. He came to our school when I was very young. A nice, tall, good-looking white man. I know Peter McKay, but his record and what he stands for and what he tried to accomplish when he was a cabinet member in Harper's government is anything but stonk-down conservative. And so as a result, I knew that what he was trying to say, he was just trying to do what he tried to do in 2003, was to win the conservative leadership with all those right-wing people, all them hardcore stonk-down conservative voters out there. He's not stonk-down conservative. He's just trying to win, and then when he wins, he'll do what Patrick Brown did, and he'll just completely disappoint you. So if you conservatives out there didn't have the brains to see that coming, and you voted for Peter McKay, I would have given up on Canadian politics. I would completely advocate for the West to separate, for Quebec to separate, and the country to just fall apart. Y'all don't know anything if you had voted for him. But you guys aren't as stupid as I think you are, so that's good. So Erin O'Toole, I've heard some bad things about him, that he I don't know. He said he wanted to get rid of somebody in his team or on someone's team, or he wanted to get rid of someone who was running for the party because of some anti-Islam things. I mean, whatever. I mean, look, my thing with this whole anti-Islam thing is y'all are fighting the wrong people. Y'all going after these Muslims in these caves and stuff, beating up on their wives and everything. Yeah, I don't like Islam. Nobody likes Islam. I don't like their culture. I don't like their practices. But y'all are going after the wrong enemy. Y'all are going after the wrong enemy. So that's just, you don't hear me talk about Islam anymore. As a matter of fact, I used to, and that was when I was an idiot. And, it's the wrong enemy. Yeah, I don't like their practices, but, it's the wrong enemy. It's the wrong enemy. First of all, I don't think that it's just a bunch of people living in caves who are attacking us like this. I think ISIS, I think that Al-Qaeda, I think they're all psyops. I think they're all psyops. I think they're Zionist psyops. I think they're Americans. First of all, and if they're not psyops, I think they're coming after us because of American imperialism. I don't know. So Islam has been around this earth for thousands of years, and we're only just now having a problem with them. Anyway, let's not get off topic here. I like Erin O'Toole. When I privately withdrew my endorsement for Leslyn, I put it with Erin O'Toole. Privately. I wasn't really interested in this election, this conservative thing, because I really didn't really like any of them, to be honest with you. We are living in a very, very tough time right now. This is not the 80s or the 70s or the 60s or the 90s, or this isn't ordinary times. We are literally in the last great war of our lifetime. And this war is God's army versus the devil's army. And the devil's army consists of globalists, of deep state individuals, of the medical tyrants, foreign evils like Zionism in Saudi Arabia. That's the devil's army. Justin Tacky, Tarface, Swiftfoot, Mackdaddy Trudeau, he represents the devil's army. He is one of those. He is a dirty, stinking snake. I hate Justin Trudeau with every fiber of my being. He is the son of Satan. He's a tacky-headed Mackdaddy. I hate him, and I don't want to hear nobody say, oh, you can't be hating on people. Hate. God is love. Shut up. Don't talk back to me. You don't know anything. Shut up. There are many people on this earth documented who God has condemned, who has hated. And God hates Justin the tacky-headed Mackdaddy as well. And Jesus does too. And I hate him. He's on the devil's army. Now, if Peter McKay had won and I decide, well, I don't want any part of this, and you guys say, well, he's not Justin Trudeau. Yeah, he may not be Justin Trudeau, but there are people out there who are worse than Justin Trudeau on the devil's army. And I want someone stomped down. I want someone stomped down to be running this country on God's side of the army. I don't want someone weak. I don't want Peter McKay who's going to look at Doug Ford. He said he was on God. I thought Doug Ford was stomped down, man. His brother was stomped down as mayor. His brother was stomped down. Rob Ford was stomped down. Doug Ford is not stomped down. Doug Ford has sold out God's army, and God will punish him for that. And I think, Peter McKay would have absolutely done. In fact, Peter McKay might as well be on the devil's army, because I think that Peter McKay was a Trojan horse. I'm not saying this because I hate him, but I'm saying this because I think it's true. I think Peter McKay was a Trojan horse That was the devil's army sending the conservatives a Trojan horse, and we were wise. Well, not we. I'm not conservative, but you conservatives were wise enough to see he was a Trojan horse. The devil's army brought the conservatives a Trojan horse of Peter McKay, and y'all saw it. Y'all didn't let him in the walls of Jericho. Y'all said, hey, go on back to where you come from. Erin O'Toole, I believe Erin O'Toole wants to be on God's army, but I have to wait and see. Leslyn Lewis, I believe, wants to be on God's army, but as I said, I think she herself is weak. And I can just see that by the way she treated us in the Arana Nation. She refused to come on the Arana Nation, but she went on all these globalist news places because she thought I was too controversial. She said she lied. First of all, she lied to us and said her schedule can't fit us in, but she can plenty well fit in CBC and CTV, the devil's media, but she can't fit in the stunk down brother Arana Nation. She can't fit me in. So she's weak, and I don't want weak people in God's army. I don't want sissies in God's army. I don't want weaklings in God's army. I don't want people who are afraid of a little bit of controversy in God's army. We are in a serious war, and if the devil's army wins, we are all going to hell. And Leslyn Lewis is weak, snobbish, snob-ridden, sissy. I don't want her in God's army. She doesn't have the fortitude to be a leader. She punked out on us, should have punked out on God's army as well. Derek Sloan, I think Derek Sloan is good. I suppose he's okay, but I really, honestly, I don't know. I'd have to research him more. Erin O'Toole, I think he wants to be okay, but we have to wait and see. But Erin, don't you sell out. Don't sell out, because the moment you sell out, I'm going to have you thrown out just like Andrew Scheer and all the rest of them. And I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I'm doing damage to Doug Ford for selling us out right now to the medical establishment. And now I'm seeing Doug Ford sucking up to Justin Trudeau. It looks like he himself is an emissary of Justin Trudeau. I saw him heaping praise on Justin the Tacky at Mackdaddy Trudeau at the tape factory. So I'm not down with Doug Ford. In fact, I think Doug Ford has transferred to the devil's army now. He's not only not stomped down, he's not only just weak, I think he is transferred to the devil's army. I think he got paid off to go to the devil's army, Doug Ford. So he's out. I won't support him ever again. He's out. He's out. He's no difference between him and Justin the Tacky and Mackdaddy Trudeau anymore, or any of those people on the devil's army. But Erin, don't you sell out. I'll be watching you, and I'll be watching you like a hawk. I'm not excited, but I'm happy it's not Peter McKay. You're probably the best of them all. But if you sell out, Erin, I swear to God, I will rip you to pieces on Arana Nation. I will tear you up, and I'll make you like it too. I'm tired of this. Honestly, Canadian politics lately has made me sick to my stomach. I don't know, maybe Erin will be good, I don't know, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. We will have to see. Erin, this is not normal times for you to go in there and just talk, just kind of, go along to get along. That's not going to work anymore. You are now a general in God's army, Erin O'Toole. You are now a general in God's army. And we are watching you. Are you going to stand up? Are you going to be stomped down? Are you going to be stomped down? Are you going to sell us out? Are you going to be weak? It's either those three. He's either going to be stomped down and be a tough general in God's army, or he's going to be a weak general in God's army, or he's going to sell us out. It's only those three. We shall see. We shall see. I wasn't going to vote. If I did vote, and if they had a system where you didn't have to pay money, I'd have voted for Erin O'Toole. I guess Leslyn would probably have to be on the second ballot, and then Derek would be on the third. No, it'd be Erin, then Derek, then Leslyn, then Peter McKay. Look, I just can't forgive Leslyn for doing that to us. For just snobbing us like that. Just snobbing us like that and going on the mainstream media. What a disgusting move. You snubbed Arana Nation. You probably were too controversial. You don't want to hurt your image. Let me tell you something. I've had some of the most controversial people in this country come on Arana Nation. Faith Goldie, Kevin J. Johnston. And you know what Arana Nation has done to them? It has made them look even better in the public's image. Faith Goldie, everybody said she was a Nazi. She was Hitler's baby granddaughter. She was Jezebel herself. She was Ku Klux Klan. She came on Arana Nation. She sat down next to me in a park. Beautiful dress, blue dress. I mean, for this so-called racist, who everybody thought was racist, to sit down with me with a sleeveless dress, blue dress, sitting next to a black man, you know, if she was so racist, she would not be sitting next to a black man with sleeveless dress on. If she was so racist. If she was so racist, first of all, she wouldn't come anywhere near a black man. Or a Hamite man, I should say. I don't like to use black. Black is a despised color. I prefer to use the word Hamite. The Hamite. I am the son of Ham. Just like all black people. She sits next to a Hamite with a sleeveless dress on. That's not what a racist does. If a racist were to sit next to me, it would be on the far side, far away, covered up, looking like some Arab woman because she doesn't want to be raped. She sat here next to me, close to, you know, almost touching. So, and people saw that, and she wasn't talking anything crazy. I asked her bread and butter issues about the economy, about transportation, about what her views are on LGBT. I asked her to clarify these things that make people think she's racist, and she answered them professionally. And you know what? That made her look good. I mean, the damage was so done that I don't think she was going to win that year. But she came in third. And that's, I think, I don't want to brag, but I think a lot of that has to do with her appearance on Arana Nation. I really, really do. Even the Rebel didn't want to have her on. The Rebel, which is supposed to be stomped down. Ezra Levant's supposed to be stomped down conservative. He didn't have her on. They fired her. She came on Arana Nation. I gave her a chance. And she didn't disappoint. And she looked good. And I think that's what got her to win, to do so well. Same with Kevin. Nobody would give Kevin J. Johnston a chance. Nobody. And he came on. And he wasn't up there talking about Muslims. Let's kill all the black. Let's kill them. He talked about corruption, he talked about transit, he talked about property taxes, and he came in second. And I think that wouldn't have happened if I didn't give them a little bit of the limelight. I'm not trying to brag, but I'm just talking the facts. Nobody was giving Faith Goldie, nobody. I gave her a little chance, and then Leslyn Lewis, who had a chance to win, who could have been the leader. If I could do that, a little bit of that for Faith and Kevin, can you imagine what I could have done for Leslyn? So for her to snub me, think I'm too controversial, she's a loser now. She's a loser, so she's gone. Get out of here, you traitor, you snob, you're a snob, you snob, you're a loser. Get out! Go on back to your law office there, you snob. If she had come on Arana Nation, she'd be leader today. If Leslyn Lewis came on Arana Nation when I had asked her to, she would be leader today. Not Erin O'Toole. He wouldn't be leader today. It'd be Leslyn Lewis. We'd be talking about the first Hamite woman leading a major party in Canada, or leading any political party. I don't think there's ever been a Hamite who's been the leader of any political party in Canada, federally or provincially. It'd be the first Hamite woman to win and become leader of any political party in this here country of Canada. But she didn't come on. She's a snob, so she's out. She lost, a loser. She snubbed us. She snubbed us. And I don't forgive that. And I'll never forgive that. Anyway, so that's my take on the whole thing. That's my warning to Erin O'Toole. Don't sell out. I'll be watching you. You're a general in God's army now. You're going to stand up and represent and be stomped down with God's army? Or are you going to sell out? Or are you going to be a weak general? The choice is yours, Erin. As for me, I am the commander-in-chief. And this is Grrr.